Welcome back to the Nomtombout Radio Show, 91.7 WVXU, your HD2 station. Or you can stream us live on Radio Artifact, ticket.com. Yeah, man, we back for another week. Man, got a guest in the house. It's been a pretty good week. It's starting to heat up. It's been real uncomfortable. It's time to take them hoodies off. I still got mine on, though. I'm living my fat world as long as I can keep my hoodie on. Like I say, it's getting warmer. There's more people outside. Shorts are getting shorter. So it's a lot of good views out here. The pool is finally open. Go ahead, dunk yourself in a Greek bathhouse if you want. I always hate getting in the pool, really, because I was traumatized as a kid. Got into the pool and you see the Band-Aid floating by, and then you lift your hand out the water and there's somebody's chest hair on every knuckle. It's definitely gross. But yeah, man, I hope you're enjoying your year so far. It's already the end of May, pretty much. It's crazy. But yeah, man, we got a special guest in the house. A guy you might know from around the city. A guy with the Superlative Fleauxs. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah.
I'm talking about, right.
Yeah. So introduce yourself, man.
Well, my name is Nathan Ivey. I flow, therefore I am.
Yeah, man.
Absolutely. One man, one microphone, one mission.
Yeah, that's interesting, too, the one man, one microphone thing. I want to get into that a little bit later about how you finesse that and how you keep yourself going with only one person. I know sometimes I need somebody to just bounce some ideas off of and everything like that. But definitely welcome to the show. We appreciate you coming through.
Appreciate it. My honor, man. Appreciate it. I love what you do.
I've been listening for a while. I used to have to go to work real early, so I know all about Lil Buddha and
is that right?
The Superlative Fleauxs and the early morning wake up. So
well, now she's medium Buddha. She's 14 now, and I call her Little Buddha. She's like, nah, Dad, medium Buddha.
How's that having your girl grow up?
It's great on one hand because I love when kids grow up because as a parent you got to do less stuff. That's always better. Mm-hmm. But then secondly, it's just she's one of my best friends. Mm-hmm. It's like I told my wife all the time, we created one of my best friends. Yeah. So we got a deeper relationship now. Like my conversations with my daughter is just it's just so sensitive. It's so intimate. Just in the sense of, it's two people that love each other, right? Yeah. And so every conversation we have is like straight from the heart and sincere.
And you're never really going to find the love you get from your kid, somebody who actually needs you and needs your nurturing and touch and everything like that.
Yeah. And as I'm learning, man, like, I tell this story all the time. Me and the wifey, we never set out to have kids. Yeah. It was just God's blessing. Yeah. And my son, who is 4 now, he was born even though my wife's tubes were tied. Mm. So we thought we was done, right? So we looking at the sunset, empty nesters, right? Yeah. But it just wasn't God's plan. It wasn't the way it was supposed to go. So we welcome him into the family as a blessing. And I just left him a little while ago, man. It's when you got that special connection with your kids, it's hard to tear away from. Mm-hmm. So the things that take me away from my family are important to me. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I respect what you're doing. That's why I had to be here when you made the request.
Man, I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate it. Just had my co-host walk in, Vibe 1.
Peace. What's going on, everybody? Traffic is a mug today, but I think they working and it's raining crazy. So that mixture is a bad thing. But peace and love. I'm here. Continue on speaking.
When is it not construction going on 75, man? All parts of 75, like in every state, pretty much. It's always happening. But yeah, and you from the city, right?
Born and raised, yeah.
Born and raised.
I was a Section 8 kid, right? If people remember that program, growing up with a single mother, oldest of 5 kids. Yeah. So we moved all over. Mm-hmm. But my grandparents owned a property over in Walnut Hills, so I would spend my summers over there. And then, like, later on, like my high school years, I spent all there. So I always claimed Walnut Hills, but I lived in Mount Healthy, Forest Park, Lynn Street, Auburn Avenue. I've lived all over the street, all over the city.
All right. And the thing I like about the way you present? Kind of tell people what you do other than that so we can.
So for a long time, and I'm a talk radio guy, right? I'm a broadcaster. Started at WAIF way back in like 1996, right? I was in high school. I mean, not high school. I was in college on my way to law school. And a partner of mine, we answered an ad that was in the paper. I think it was in City B magazine. And WAIF was looking for summer broadcasters. So we put in an application. They accepted it. And we ended up getting a show on Friday, which is, I came to understand, was like Black Night. That's when they had all the Afrocentric, talking drum, Ojinga
with the drums.
All them cats over there, man. So we didn't really have no idea what we was getting into. But once I started doing it, I just fell in love with the medium. I love connecting with people. I love, like, analyzing what was in the news, processing it, and then throwing it out there to provoke thought. So from the jump and even to the day, I look at myself as an agent provocateur, right? I want to provoke the conversation. I want to stir the pot so we can start thinking about how we get ourselves into a better place. And, so my radio career started at WAIF. And then at some point, they started a radio talk, an all-black talk station that was owned by the Love family called The Buzz. And folks might remember, they just came back this week. They changed their format from mostly music to back to talk. So I started there. I just hounded the program director, Jerry Tolliver, because I was looking for a shot. And literally, it was so long ago, it seems like, in technology, that I literally sent her a disc. I walked into the radio station, put a disc, as opposed to like emailing her a file or a link to stream or whatever else. And it wasn't overnight. It took a while, but eventually, for whatever her reason, she later told me the story on her end. She answered it. I ended up like sitting in for a couple of cats that was doing late night shows, and then eventually they offered me the spot. So I started doing like a nightly show on The Buzz, and then doing Straight Talk Live, which was on the Wiz on Sunday mornings.
Straight Talk Live.
Yeah, picking up for the great Edna Howe.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I miss hearing like the old, like, just that theme song.
Yeah.
Talking straight. Yeah, man.
Yeah. I grew up listening to that. So just imagine, I grew up listening to that. I get in talk radio. Boom, now I'm in that spot. So I just took it as a real honor, right? I took it like a big responsibility for the community. So it was less about my ego, and it was more about like what's important, who's not saying what, because I came from the hip hop era. The hip hop era was about keeping it real. Right? One of my favorite groups is Public Enemy, and they didn't suffer fools lightly. So I took that same energy into talk radio and sort of like melded into my own, what I call flow.
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to get into, because you got a hip-hop perspective on pretty much everything. You kind of flip everything into hip-hop terms, and you call it like accessible for the streets to be able to digest. How important is that to you to break it down in a way where a layman can get it, layman?
I didn't set out to do that way, man. It was just more natural. Like naturally, I feel like, part of what good black media does is translate. So that's how I looked at it. It's like, okay, great. I got the ability to translate this and break it down to what it really is, to break it all the way down to the very last compound, right? So that's how I took it. Stop with all the fluff and the bluster and the talking points. Here is what it is. So that's what I figured. That was my charge.
Yeah, man. We've been here for about a year. We went from AM to FM on 91.7, and I'm still trying to figure out how to like convey. I feel like I need to break it down to simpler terms more often too, but I'm trying to also secure certain spots. So yeah. You say Public Enemy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is the hip-hop guy. If you don't know, you ever heard of Watusi Tribe?
Yeah.
Yeah. Vibe 1.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man.
Okay. Much respect.
No doubt, definitely. We've been on The Buzz. We went to The Buzz a couple times, I believe, back in the day, getting interviewed. Yeah, especially when, what was the building that it was in?
Back when it was over in Roseline?
Maybe I think once then, and then did it move at some point in time? Did it make sure I'm not getting it mixed up with another station, because we've been on several. I know we've been on The Buzz though. I remember going on there and speaking at the same time that what was this, early 2000s? It was like early 2000s, going towards. It's so weird to think 2000 being so far away that it is, because we still in the 2000s. It's weird for me to. I'm better at going to the 90s and 80s and feeling like there was a stretch of time, but it's really been a long time.
It's 20 years.
Yeah,
right?
It's crazy. But yeah, we've been in there a couple times being interviewed. So,
what's your favorite song, hip hop song, man?
Shit, too many, man. Too many. You know, it's hard to say just one. Because I'm much more of like, I listen to the kind of music, like even when I worked in commercial radio, working with the Weds and stuff like that, I never really listened to a lot of it because, you know, I don't like my music programmed to me. I'm much more of a whatever I feel in the moment type guy.
Right.
So it's hard to say just one song. So I might get caught up with a melody or that's a new track. Or for whatever reason, it could be somebody posting something or something like that. It reminds me of an old school track, and then I get on that kick for a little while. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like somebody might post something, and I'm like, oh, I might rediscover Nas for a little while, right? Or it might be some new joint. Like I was been listening to Nipsey just because I wasn't really familiar with listening to his music. I was aware of who he was, but not as an artist. So I've been listening to Nipsey for the last couple of weeks. Now I'm kind of off that kick and on to something else. So
Man, and it's getting to the point where they just using Nipsey for exploitation now. I seen somebody throwing a Nipsey Blue party, and they was like, what are you doing? Like,
well, you know, that's what the culture, that digital culture is all about, right? You know, that digital culture is all about being fast and then picking up on what everybody else is talking about. So it depends on what their spirit is. If their spirit is like, oh, we're gonna try to promote the positive side of Nipsey and try to make some money, I ain't mad at that. I ain't mad at that at all.
But I don't think that's what it is. It's gonna be a party where people gonna be shaking it up and drinking big liquor. It's like it's nothing about what he stood for to like push his message. It's just like it's the Nipsey Blue party. It's gonna be hoes there. You better come through. Like, come on, man.
Well, you know, like I told you, you know, I think it would be smart if like somebody picked up on that Nipsey vibe, because what was he all about? He was all about like
progression.
You know, like he was all about like buy up your block before they do, right? He was all about investing in your block before the white man or whoever you might want to say is they comes in and do it for you. Like a lot of people in Cincinnati are sitting around and they belly aching about what's happening. But the question needs to be asked, what you been doing for the last 15 years? So you look at Walnut Hills. Walnut Hills has been an investment for 15 years. They ain't just started being an investment. You know, there's black folks out there that can collectively put their money together and make these kind of things happen. And there's some black folks out there that's got money in their own bank account that can make these kind of things happen. But what I would say about that in the city of Cincinnati, like if you want to adopt that Nipsey hustle value, well then look at Price Hill. You know, do a little research and look at what people who are making big development moves, what neighborhoods are they looking at? There are some moves to be made in this city. You can still make money. There's property to be bought in this city. I was just inside of, I do a group page called The Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivey Show. It's mostly like local folks. So we in there trying to figure out like how can we take this small community and impact a larger community. And part of that is just coming up with ideas and saying, boom, I'm gonna throw it into the ether, run with it. Like somebody listening right now got the bread to go out there and buy up a couple of properties, flip it for themselves, or to start some type of collective that you can actually have an impact in the community. You know what I'm saying? Not everything in Cincinnati's been bought up. Over the Rhine, that's over with. Walnut Hills, there's still parts of it, but the main parts, that's over with. You waited too late. But there are some spots in this city that are ripe for investment. And instead of, you know, people just worrying about the displacement, and I appreciate that. That's a great conversation we should have. They should also be looking forward like, well, how can I get ahead of these developers, right? And get you a piece of this cheap property and flip it like everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Why can't we do that in our community?
You think the Lions Den, you think that's what's really going on with the Lions Den?
That's what the talk is. You know, from what I heard, it was some people was like, Lions Den? Wait a minute, I go there all the time. No, it's a problem. I did see that the city decided to back away from trying to shut it down, at least in the short term. But I also understand there might be some legal consequences that the owner might be dealing with. And if things go that way, it might trigger some type of eviction or something like that. I was just it was just good to see that black people, you know, that support black entrepreneurs and the black community stood up and let their voice be heard. So I know members in my audience, go to the Lion's Den, and they told me, Nate, hey, it's no problem.
Yeah.
And so it makes you wonder. I think it's fair. I think it says a lot about the city that when a story comes out that in the media, that people are suspicious. And if I was the city of Cincinnati, I would drill deeper into why there's so much cynicism when a story like that goes up. Like, some people think that the city's office is being used to spur development for non-black people. Let's keep it real, right? That's what people think. So if that's what people think, well, maybe there's some truth to it, or maybe it's BS. But either way, I think that if you're the city, you should pay attention to that and ask yourself why people are cynical about the moves they're making, and these various departments and what their real motivations are.
I think that's just the sign of the times now. Like, people been lied to about so much that we just skeptical of everything.
Right.
Especially when it actually seems skeptical. It's like, man, hold up. Like, black businesses that's growing, never been late on a bill or nothing like that. And the guy who owns the whole little complex, he came and talked on Lincoln Ware's show.
Right.
And pretty much said they want me to illegally evict her, and said if I don't evict her, then they're going to come after me and try to take the whole property away from me.
Well, again, Reading Road is prime real estate. Anything on Reading Road, in my opinion, has the potential to be electric, because to me, Reading Road is just so vital, and I think it's a way of measuring the health of the overall city. Yeah. Like, in my opinion, when Reading Road is electric all the way up to the Rose Line, and I mean electric and new business, you know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like over the Rhine, but there's still black people there, like thriving businesses are opening up, new storefronts. That's going to say great things about the overall health of the city. But I did not hear that conversation with Mr. Lincoln Ware. I am aware of it. And again, all that's going to do is fuel the cynicism that people have about the city and the moves they make. It's unfortunate for the city.
If they want to fix something on Reading Road, go after them tooster-prots that be down there.
The tooster-prots?
The prostitutes that just be walking down there like,
right.
It's deep down there, man.
It is. I've heard about it, shall I say.
Man, drive down Reading one time. You're going to see a lot of things for sale.
Have fun.
Man, there's a lot of butt for sale down there, man. A lot of chilling protectors for sale. Why does the buzz change is the way it works over and over and over?
That's the $1 million question, right? Well, I worked there for like 15 years, and while I was there, they switched formats twice. So I left 3 years ago and went online 3 months after leaving there. I went online. Best decision I ever made, professionally, by far. All the fresh shit, all the dope shit is online. The internet is where it's happening. Digital is the future. But I can't tell you, man. You have to ask the management that. And I'll be honest with you, I think that's a fair question. And that's a question I really haven't heard like anybody in mainstream media. Everyone's been applauding the return to buzz, and I applaud their return as well. I think it's great for the community. I believe in more talk, not less. I think that if you look at like the various media channels and like the people that's the hosts, white folks, they got multiple media channels. Why can't black folks have multiple media channels, right, in the city of Cincinnati? Right. We can't have enough media channels that's focused on our issues where black folks can turn into it and the friends of black folks can turn into it and see what's going on for whatever reason. So I 100% think it's a great thing. But I'll be honest with you, I never thought it was a good thing for them to go away from the format in the first place.
Who was unhappy with the talk radio format? It's a lot of people who listen every day.
Yeah, that's a fair question. I think it's a question that the community should ask. I don't know the answer to that. I wasn't in management, so I can't really answer that. I will say that, the notion that black talk radio don't make money, I don't believe in that, because I'm on the internet and I've been able to cobble together, money and make money from what I'm doing. I've worked with a lot of big sponsors in the city and I'm on the internet. Yeah. So I think that's a question that, other people should ask. And I think that's fair. I really can't answer that. What I can say is that in the last 3 years, there's been an explosion in digital media. There's an explosion. Black people in the city of Cincinnati have not been sitting around waiting for the buzz to come back. They've been tuning in to people on satellite radio. They've been tuning into the YouTube. They've been tuning into the internet. I mean, there is an explosion of black voices that you can press a button on your phone and listen to. And you can find what you're looking for. Whether it's a whatever, whether you got a real Pan-African view or you got a progressive black view, there are voices out there, and a lot of people have, sort of redeveloped their schedule to try to find what they was looking for. So for me, I've been in the digital space online in the mornings. I do a live show from 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. We talk about local issues, nathanivey.com. And the buzz returning is not going to affect me because the people that listen to me want to listen to me. And that's what I love about digital media. You don't get as many casual listeners, but you have a stronger strength of relationship with each and every person that listens to you. So the folks that take the time to go to my website and press that button, that's because they want to be there.
Right.
Yeah. Those are my people, right? So that's how you got to look at it. You might have a smaller audience, but you got a stronger strength of relationship. So, it's incumbent upon, digital, content creators to cultivate those relationships because that's what it's all about. And when I heard about the news of the buzz, I was told that people said a lot of flattering things about me and where's Nathan. That's great.
A lot of ladies, wasn't it?
What? I'm sorry.
A lot of ladies, wasn't it?
It might have been. It might have been. Only lady I'm worried about is the wifey.
Right? Yeah.
That's it.
But you got to admit, how do you deal with, like, radio groupies?
Man, I don't. It's never been an issue for me. Whether you're on radio or not, a man who's got any kind of style or about himself always got options. You know what I'm saying? So being on a radio is not necessarily going to bring you more or less women. I don't know. But then being married, you know how it is, man. There's a certain line you just don't cross. So I don't have any radio groupies. I got a lot of female supporters that listen to the show, they like the flows, they get something out of it, and I seriously try to cultivate those relationships. And that's how I look at it.
That's them superlative flows. You see how he flipped it on me like that? Yeah, man.
That's flip. I mean, that's just how it really is.
I feel like, because I remember listening to you years ago, and I feel like that when you come across the way that you come across, and even if you're not, in so many words, you're not letting it be known that I'm not about this bull crap, I'm about this, you won't even have to deal with anybody trying to. You may have one person that may say something, be in your inbox or something like that.
Yeah.
Kind of out of line a little bit, but once you set the precedence and you stick to what you own and you never waver, you really won't have that issue. Like, you won't have that issue too much.
I mean,
you let it be known I'm married.
Right.
You letting it be known.
Right.
You know what I mean? You still might have somebody say something, but still, when you sticking to what you originally came across, whenever it was that you got married, and whenever you let it be known to the public, this is who it is, this is all it's about, and you stuck with that, and then nobody ever seen anything different from you, they gotta respect it. Even if they're attracted to you, they're gonna respect it for them.
I think that's true for the most part.
Yeah.
Like, people pick up on your vibe. I mean, I've gotten a few DMs, man, but it ain't nothing I really ever try to dwell on or respond to. It just comes with the game.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? A black man with a strong voice and a microphone. You know what I'm saying? Mama and dad didn't do too bad.
Right.
That's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying?
It's the voice thing.
That's it.
Right.
It's got to be the voice thing. I know from experience
right.
myself, and my voice ain't even that deep unless I make it like that. Because I'm trying to do something. But I like older women, man, 65 and up.
65?
Yes. I like for that thing to be out of commission. That way we ain't got no mistakes happen.
I think you got a lane all to yourself, brother.
I wish, man. It's more and more people talking about they like older women, man.
Really?
Yes.
They
to each his own, man. Nothing wrong with that.
They trying to.
I won't be married to an older woman. But hopefully, if I live long enough one day.
Yeah. But y'all gonna be the same age, around the same age. I'm talking about.
You talking about now?
30 years older. Yeah, man. Somebody who just gonna show me some love, put me some food in the Tupperware. Throw
some money in that Cash App.
I don't even need your money, man.
No,
I just appreciate. They appreciate you more because they ain't been appreciated in a while.
Okay.
You just be like, you beautiful. She be like, thank you. I love it, man. I love it, man. You kind of look like John P. Key, man, a little bit.
Who was that now?
John P. Key?
No, I don't know who that is.
Yeah, gospel artist. Look him up.
John P. Nobody ever told me that before. I've heard King Griffey.
Yeah, kind of.
Griffey, yeah, I've heard that. I get that all the time.
I'm going to show you a picture of John P. Key. You're going to be like, what? I should be getting paid.
That's my tether.
Jerry Tolliver. We talked about her for a second. She got one of the most, I don't know how to describe. Her voice is like, it sound like feathers in and Stars. She sound like an anime character, and I used to like listening to her too, cause everybody. It's like real airy, whimsical type voice. What happened to her? Is it the same type of thing that happened with you?
Oh yeah. So my last day in commercial talk radio, working for what is now known as Urban Run One. Now back then it was known about Radio One. Was like, I don't know, first week in December in 2015 or 16. It was 3 years ago.
Can't nobody make up their mind.
So, I mean, she was let go on the same day. So, but Jerry and I stayed connected. It was funny, back when I was working for Jerry as the program director, she used to always tell me to go on the internet. Go on the internet. Go on the internet. You should go on the internet. You should go on the internet. I'm like, on the internet? I'm on commercial radio. What's so funny is that once we both left commercial radio, we ended up working together on an internet vehicle.
Digital Media.
Send Digital Media, right. So she's been instrumental in a lot of different ways behind the scenes. But she currently does a podcast called The B Word. The B Word. And she kicked it off with Kenya Owens, who is the wife of Gary Owens. And they very, very interesting. And Kenya had to move. She moved to California. And who knows, we might pick it back up. But she's continued with that project. So for people who like Jerry, go on our Facebook page, Send Digital Media, check out the podcast. Yeah, man. And I was just talking with her a couple of days ago, and we were talking about the buzz. And I can't speak for Jerry. I'll let her speak for herself. But she's got some definitely strong opinions about everything.
I like Jerry Tolliver. I can't listen to her late at night or early in the morning. No, I almost fell asleep and crashed several times. I want her to read me bedtime stories.
Is that right?
She got that voice, man. It's like a pillow.
A lot of people like her voice.
And so you're not going back to the buzz?
No, I don't have any plans on doing that. No. People ask me, like, did they reach out to you? No, I haven't. And they ask me, well, they asked you to come back, would you? I would entertain any conversation. I don't say no to anything. Yeah. If somebody called me to ask me to do something and I can do it, I'm there. Yeah. Because, I'm 100% on my grind. My grind is furthering the Nathan Ivey Show. I want to make it the #1 internet talk show. No offense or anything like that, but that's my goal, right? Everybody's goal should be #1, right? Yeah. That's my goal. I want to be the #1 internet talk show host of Cincinnati. And I want to further establish Send Digital Media as a new urban voice in Cincinnati, just using the power of podcasting and digital media. So that's what I'm about. So, honestly, I'd heard about this before it really broke into media. And when I first heard about it, I thought, man, that's great for the community. People are going to be really excited. But it doesn't change what I do the next day. Like tomorrow, I'm doing a show at 7 a.m. And every day after that. And I'm moving forward with Send Digital Media. So I'm just about 100% on my grind. Yeah. And it doesn't really matter what's happening to the right. It don't matter what's happening to the left. I don't give a damn who's in this market. I'm here. And we ain't going nowhere. Because we believe in the power of black voices, female voices, and more talk, not less. And in the digital age, you can't have enough voices and opportunities to hear people that's educated about what's going on where you live. So our focus is inside that I-275 loop where I live, where we live, right? And it's not going to change. I talk with the team. We huddled up on the phone. Everybody's super energized. And we think the buzz being back in the market is a great thing. And, it's business as usual for us. Right? It's not going to change my relationship with our sponsors. It's not going to change the relationship we have with our talent. It's just nothing more than a spiritual sort of energizing thing, because the amount of work I put into it don't change because of something else somebody else does. This is what I got. I'm at 10 right now. So the only thing that happens is, I have the quiet satisfaction of knowing that I was right, that this city does deserve, media platforms where black people can talk to black people about what black people want to talk about.
I think that's just powerful, man, because it's an ownership mentality, and it's also like whenever you get into that mentality where you in a comparison, you always gonna lose.
You're always gonna lose.
So just keep your head down.
Always gonna lose, right?
I think that's where I'm at right now, man. Like certain stuff kind of be bugging me sometimes, but when I get like that, I just work on some new editing or work on some new footage, something to keep me going in my direction, man. Because 1 + 1 is 2, and consistency is usually the only thing that's missing out the equation of why you're not winning. It's because you're not at it all the time.
Consistency is key, all the way around the board, right? It's that, that's the key of winning any championship.
Consistency, man. Some more questions I wanted to ask you. What do you think about this Alabama abortion?
Well, I feel the same way now as I have done my whole adult life. And I think that the abortion issue is one that men should step out of the room and let these ladies run their own bodies. I'm sick and tired of these old white guys, and that's who it is, at the State House trying to tell women what to do with their bodies. And it pisses me off. I think that, a woman who makes a decision about whatever she wants to do, whether she wants to terminate her pregnancy, that's a huge conversation. And in my personal life, I exercise the same consistency as I do on the air. If I'm not willing to come to your house and help you with some money, if you decide to have a kid, then I said, fuck out the conversation, period. So I think too many people got their own personal viewpoints about who should have a baby and abortion. That's all good. But if you're not willing to chip into that pot, then shut the hell up and stay out of it. What burns me up about these Republicans, man, is they're hypocrites. They claim to love babies. They love babies so much until the baby is born, and then they want to restrict welfare. They want to force women back away from the household, because that's what welfare was set up to do, so babies can stay home, mothers can stay home and raise their babies, right? But they have no responsibility to the social safety net. Republican policies are always trying to cut that social safety net, but then they want to force women to have a baby. I don't get it.
I see what you're saying, and but the bill is that it's a felony for any doctor. If any doctor is to give an abortion in Alabama for any other purpose other than the safety of the mother that's pregnant, it's a felony for the doctor, and I think also for the woman, right?
I didn't know about the woman. I know that about the doctor, so I'm not sure.
I think women can say what needs to be done to their bodies, but it also should include the father of that child also. Do you not think that?
Well, I mean, if we're gonna have the whole conversation, like I believe that women should have the right to terminate a pregnancy if they decide to. But I also believe that men should have the right to sever their parental responsibilities if they decide to. Now, the first part of that conversation is a lot easier to have a conversation about than the second part, because when you start talking about men's rights, that's something that our society and a lot of women just ain't used to. Like, a lot of women look at men's rights as taking away women's rights, but it don't have to be that way. So I believe in that.
Comparison mind state.
You would say what?
That's that comparison mind state.
Yeah, it's right. It's that people feel like some women feel like if a man is getting rights, it's taken away from a woman. No. I think that a woman should have a right to terminate her pregnancy. I think that a man should have the right to sever his parental responsibilities if that's what he decides to do so. I don't think that anybody should be forced to be a parent unless they really want to be so.
See, man, I think incest, rape, things like that, you should be able to go ahead and have an abortion. But anything
Absolutely.
outside of there, you kind of got to just like exercise self-discipline. Because if you don't have money to raise a kid, then maybe you shouldn't engage in sexual acts. My penis don't even get hard unless I got some money. Like, you're setting yourself up for a hard situation. And I think that when you give a woman all that power, she then has to not be accountable to anything. So you can continue to make these babies and not be accountable, and it's always the guy going to jail because he can't support the kid, or the guy giving up his parental rights. If you think you're in a position where you want to give up parental rights, you shouldn't be having sex. Sex is a specific task that yields specific results. You can say condoms and all that, but you have to be smart about your decisions, or else you're setting yourself up to hate your baby's mom, have multiple baby's mothers, and then that creates hatred between black relationships between the man and the woman. I'm just talking about us specifically. We got to be smarter about how we engage so we don't get certain results. I feel like my mom and my dad didn't love each other, and I kind of feel how that was put on me in certain aspects. I feel like it's hard to love something that you don't love how you made it.
Where it came from.
Yeah, where it came from and the energy you putting into it. Like, we just got to be smarter about that, because you're creating legacies, and it's not just about the mother or the father. What position are you putting this child in? How hard is it going to be growing up without that balance, or knowing that one of your parents didn't want you, or things like that?
It's definitely, excuse me, bro. It's definitely a thing to where the two people that's coming together and thinking they just having fun, knowing, even if you got a, because how many times we find out somebody has gotten pregnant and they were wearing a condom or was on the pill, or it still can happen. So it's like, in that stage, because I try to have these conversations with my kids, man, like, live your life. And I know you got hormones and all these different things come about, and you think you in love with somebody, but these boys are young, and you find, and their hormones is talking to them, so they love you right now. You
and
never,
vice versa.
Yeah, you both ways. So you never know what's gonna happen. So if y'all not gonna listen to me and wait, like I would like for y'all to wait, but then here's everything that can come along with it. Here's everything that these are the possibilities, pros and cons of continuing being sexually active or whatever, right? So, but I also agree with what you're saying as far as the politicians, because what it is like, you give supposedly these programs that are supposed to help the women, like you say, stay at home and take care of the kids. But then it's on one end you give, and on another end, another perspective, you're taking away opportunities or whatever. So basically, you keeping the system going where this child is born and is raised up. You take all these other things away from them, and then what they're thinking later on down the line, this will be a child that'll go into the business of prison. And we keep that money going. So it's a whole, like, it's a thing where it's systematically we getting things that seem like, oh, that's a good thing. We getting this bill passed. We getting this. And like, they're helping you, but behind their back they got this other thing that's coming right down the pipeline. As soon as you take that, and then we hitting you with this sucker punch. So it's always a thing where we have to really, people, not even just black people, but we are black. You have to really think about this stuff.
You got to be mindful about the outcome.
And that's not sexy to us. That's not hip to be actually thinking. Especially at a young age, thinking about what we doing before we go ahead and do it. Nah, I'm a little tipsy, you a little tipsy, you look good, you looking good in them. Let's just get it popping, and you don't. The ramifications after the fact is just like, man, you never expect it. Even to me, I had my children when the mid-20s or whatever, married and all that, but I thought I was ready. Nah, I had to be made ready. You know what I mean? But luckily, I was raised a certain kind of way to where a lot of the things that men who are less and women who are less ready to deal with responsibilities, even if it comes out of nowhere, I was kind of bred to be able to deal with it. But I see my mom and my dad go through their issues. Like, I was there in the house with my dad till 12, 13. Then he was gone. My brother, who's 6.5 years younger than me, really didn't have him there. And my sister, who's almost 10 years younger than me, does not know him. Knows what he looked like, seen him here and there, but they don't know the man that I know.
And it creates resentment. Like, it might be cool as a kid, but once you start trying to find yourself in your 20s, especially as a man, around like 27, you start asking questions, and these questions can't be answered. Now you resent yourself. You resent your father. You start looking at your mom skeptically, like, because it's like, what type of mind state was you in? Like, how come you weren't holding it down? Like, and thinking more about
because me, I'm glad you just said it, because I'm all for the defense of my mama.
And a lot of people, but what that creates is there's nowhere in society where women really have to be accountable for their actions. They can always.
My brother has a different. My brother is similar, almost like, not to the. He doesn't dislike my mom or anything like that, but he's like, well, wait a minute, mom, what was up with you chose this dude? So he kind of posed that question to her, but I came up watching the struggle. So by the time he came along, he probably don't remember a lot of the struggle. But then when I moved out and moved away, she got remarried. So there was another person there to for a little while to be like a father figure. But I could actually, the person that my father was before he got sucked up by the drugs is not the person he was when them drugs hit him. So I can have more of a compassion for my mom, and as far as why would you choose this dude? Because the dude that she chose was a great dude. Everybody in the community, when the drugs hit him, it was like a shock to the whole everybody. Like, how did he get on it? Mm-hmm. This man had a good job, athletic, taught karate to the kids in the neighborhood, kept us on what we supposed to be on. Me, what I was supposed to be on from my early years, and then however he got hooked onto the cocaine and then the crack, who knows? But he got hooked onto it, and it turned you to a whole different person. And my mom wasn't with that dude. Mm-hmm. My mom wasn't with that behavior. That's why he had to go.
I don't even think you should get your genitals until like 35. They should be like, we're gonna hold your genitals until you have accumulated enough money, and then when you do get your genitals, if your balance, you have an insufficient balance, you cannot have sex. Right. Like, it should be like a card swipe on the side of your balls as a man, because as a man you have to be accountable, because a lot of times
there's some truth in that. Like, they say the youth is wasted on the young. That's because a lot of people, I remember being 21, you couldn't tell me shit.
Yeah.
You couldn't tell me shit. I had like a 6-pack. You know what I'm saying? I'm dunking with 2 hands, thinking I'm smart. Now, as a man of my
dunking
40s,
with 2 hands made you feel smart?
Well, I'm saying that was like a comma and then also something else.
I got
smart. So it's 2 different things. But so comma, thinking I'm smart, and man, looking back, I was dumb as hell. You think you know, but you don't know shit until you really get some responsibility out here, like some real responsibility, right? Some family man, kids, a woman who you really rock with and give a damn and you willing to sacrifice for. That's when you start to really develop like real world issues. 21 with no kid, you a kid, basically. Yeah. So, that's why you're right about that. If you could save young people from some of those pitfalls until they 35, it'd be a better place, but unfortunately,
you're thinking with a whole different mind.
You're a grown up.
Yeah, you got bills. You're like, I can't really even afford to have no kid.
You understand sacrifice. Yeah. See, that's the thing about young people. You don't really understand sacrifice. You don't understand like what it really builds to. Very few young people, shall I say? I can't say everybody, but very few young people. And when I say young people, I'm talking like you 20, you 21. Yeah. How old is your man over here?
23.
Fuck it. 23. Fuck you. 23, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I know he think he got it all figured out, don't you? He don't know shit. He don't know a damn thing. Man. And when I was 23, looking back, I didn't know shit. So
you ever look back and be scared for your younger self? You like, oh my God, you was fooling.
I look back like, how did I make it? A bunch of times.
Never would have made it. Oh, I wasn't gonna finish. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Just a little bar.
I thought it was more coming.
Nah, just one little flow.
But back to that up, man, about the whole abortion thing. I've never in my life hated on a woman or had anything to say to a woman. I've dated women. I think we all have that have had abortions. I think that when people say, "Oh, well, it's easy," you're using it like it's a contraception. That ain't true. Women that make these very serious decisions, that stays with them in some cases for the rest of their life, and they get later in life and end up making other decisions based upon the guilt that they had. So I've always been about, women, you ain't got nothing to be guilty about. Okay? You ain't got nobody in this world you got to answer to but you and your God. And your God is not going to treat you like that. So I tell women all the time, whether it's the church or your family or your friends, fuck them. Okay? You live your life and you do what's best for you. Period. And if people don't understand that, well, then they just will one day or they won't. But you got to walk through this life and live your best life no matter what. So, I've dated women. I've seen it firsthand. It can tear a woman up. It ain't there's a consequence to that.
Yeah.
It ain't just like, oh, had an abortion, I'm done with it. Right. Oh, no.
Right.
They might keep that scar in their heart until the day they die. So that's a very crucial decision. And I respect women that make the best decision for them. And like I said, if you ain't got no money, then shut the hell up. If you ain't putting no money in the pot, you ain't coming to, take the weekends off for mom and dad. When they need Pampers, you ain't showing up. When they need jeans, you ain't showing up, then shut up. And so I'm not showing up to pay nobody's bills. So I keep my mouth closed about what grown people do, and I just keep it moving. That's just me personally.
Yeah. I feel it. I know a lot of people are going to feel differently about what I had to say.
Yeah.
But it's coming from, I feel like I'm not coming from a hurtful place. I'm coming from a place of experience where I know what it's like firsthand to go through that, and just seeing how like just care and thinking about more than just busting off, man. If women could see the change that happened in a man's mind after he busts off, they would be scared. It's an extreme difference in feelings.
If women knew what we was thinking before in our attempt to bust off, they'd be scared.
And we can read their mind.
That's why there's a movie coming out with Taraji P. Henson where she can read people's minds. That's the scariest weapon a woman could ever have.
Yeah.
Women should never read men's minds.
But they can already. That's why
smart women can.
Yeah, your intuition will show you intent. It'll show you. A lot of times they be knowing, but then you get into that position where you can't wiggle out of, and then that's when everything started to make sense. But yeah, man. Before I get it lynched out here by these women, man, let's go ahead and switch it up, man.
All right, let's do it.
Solo hosting. You do a lot of your shows. I see you doing something with PG Sittenfeld.
Yeah.
But a lot of your shows are by yourself.
Yeah.
I like to be able to bounce ideas off my co-host, off my host, off my guests. How do you keep it going, solo hosting?
Man, I do it a couple ways. The primary way is the audience. So I read a lot of comments.
Mm-hmm.
I interact. I try to provoke thought, and then I try to bring their comments to the show. Mm-hmm. Not everybody can call in. People are busy. But what I found is a lot of people like texting. Mm-hmm. So we have a chat room. I use something called Spreaker right now to develop, to deliver my audio content and to archive it online. So it allows me to create a chat room with each and every show. Really? And my audience love to chat it up. The chat is like another layer of the show. So is that guests and just understanding how to vibe and how to be a broadcaster in 21st century media. Mm-hmm. Like if you're doing 21st century media, you might be in a room by yourself, but it don't have to necessarily sound like it. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And if you know how to bring the right elements in, per your topic, you can get some good, you can vibe, you can get some good energy and get other people's thoughts, and nobody even calls you. Mm-hmm. The other thing is guests. I mean, people love to hear guests. Guests bring their only audience back to your platform, and then I love to hear what other people kind of think more than I like to hear my own thoughts. Mm-hmm. So I try to invest in other people, like my audience, as much as possible to try to provoke them to get a response, to get their thoughts about what's really going on. Mm-hmm. I care more about what other people think than I care about people hearing what I think, quite honestly.
Yeah. I think I'm in the opposite right now. I'm trying to get to the point where you at, but at this point I'm a philosopher.
Yeah. It's all about the audience.
I'm a philosopher. I don't know how to say it. I got my ideas. I want you to teach me how to get out my own way.
I can give you some pointers.
Let's talk after the show, man, because I know
I think you got your own style, though.
Yeah, man. Hey, that's good. That's good. You part of the BBG, Big Black Guy.
Big Black Guy?
Yeah, group. I'm also a part of that.
I am.
Another person who I feel like is a part of that is Steve Harvey, man. How do you feel about the way people coming at Steve Harvey? He been fired from 2 shows this past week.
Right.
Do you think it's to any of his own fault, or?
I think that there was a moment when Steve Harvey was talking with Monique on his show. And there was a moment when he turned to the audience and had like a very real moment. He was like, we can't talk like that in front of them. And I thought, damn, Steve, that was kind of... You pull back the curtain a little bit. Now, that's just me. I don't know what it is. I do know this much, that Steve appears to have enough money. He'll be okay. I ain't going to sit up at home waiting, thinking too much about what Steve Harvey's going to do next. He got a radio show. He's very talented. He does a lot of award shows. Mm-hmm. He'll bounce back.
If he hooked up with, like, Tyler Perry, they could have a crazy production.
They could have a crazy production, right. Because I love him. I'm not going to be mad until they take him off Family Feud. Let's put it that way. I like him on Family Feud.
He be so fake on Family Feud.
I know, but the hosts are always fake on. They don't give a damn about them damn families. Rich, you think Richard Dawson cared about them families?
I don't think you can see it on nobody else's face the way you can see it on his. You could tell certain days he like, man. I do not want to be here.
Yeah, but I think you can tell that on all those hosts. They're like, oh my God, we got 2 more families, the Johnsons and the Jacksons. Here we go again.
Here we go. Hey, that laugh be getting me though. It's like, bro, that's not real, man.
Right.
I want to get Lincoln Ware on here too, man. He another guy who I used to listen to on the Weds. I still listen to, just because I think he a character, man. He a funny guy.
Yeah, I like Lincoln. Lincoln's a funny guy. He really is, man. People in the community really, really like Lincoln.
Yeah,
I had a chance to work up close with him for about 15 years. So, I mean, we still cool, man. I mean, we've connected many times. Whether text. I think he does it. Not I think he does a television show with WKRC or something, Channel 12. He's invited me on there a couple times. So I know he's a big fan of mine. I'm still a big fan of his.
I want to. Maybe you can hook that up for us, man. I want him to. I want to do my impersonation of him to him.
You know what? Have you reached out to him?
Yeah.
He'll do it. Has he reached out back to you?
Nah, I emailed him on a couple different emails and messaged him. But
okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Once you put out this and he sees me here, he might be more likely to do it then.
Holla at me, Lincoln, man. I want you to come here so you can hear my
absolutely
impersonation.
I think he'll do it. Yes. I can't speak for him.
Yes. Unbelievable. He always do that little laugh, man.
He does.
That's funny, man.
On and off the mic.
And I got some Crown Royal for you. You come on the show, man. I got Crown Royal for you.
Did you put that in the email?
Nah.
See, that was your problem right there. Put that in the email next time.
He would have answered expeditiously. But yeah, man. Another thing that's been going on this week that's been pretty prominent. Ayesha Curry. Her thoughts on another mindset I feel of a comparison.
Yeah. It's funny, man, because with Sin Digital, not only do we want to create audio content, but we want to create news. We want to create opinion. Mm-hmm. So I've reached out to some people who are writers, and I just got a piece back from a guy named Michael Snackson, not his real name, and he wrote a piece about Ayesha Curry. And he just tore her apart, and I think we're going to publish it off of Sin Digital Media starting next week. But my take on Ayesha Curry, man, is I don't think see what the big deal is. I mean, she had a vulnerable moment on a talk show where it's nothing but women on the talk show. So what people got to understand, when you go on a talk show, most people don't just walk in having not thought about it. She probably thought about what she was going to bring that could have been provocative to the show. This is probably something she probably even talked with Stefan about, right? Like, hey, I'm going to tell this little story, So I didn't see a problem with it. Basically, she said that, she felt like nobody's checking for her. And I just felt I thought it was a vulnerable moment from a woman who was showing her insecurities. And I didn't think she was going to leave staff or she was hooking up with dudes on Craigslist. I just felt like
that would be wild.
That would be wild. It was a video. I'm sure TMZ would have it.
Definitely.
And then everybody else could pick up on it real quick. But I just felt like people was overreacting. I think it was haters, people that's mad at her for various reasons. Because she living this fabulous life with Stefan. You know what I'm saying? She got her little cookbook. And then, just the appropriate anti-light-skinnedness that, happens all the time. So it was a little bit of all of that.
But, we living in an era where people who not being spoken for are finding people to speak for them. Like the whole emo rap and all that like that. And I'm sure it's Sin Digital Media. You guys speak for a certain audience. Who do you feel like your audience is, and who do you speak for?
Man, we speak for a segment of the black community. That's our intent. Our direction is, like I said, black people, the urban community, black people, the people that live next to black people, and all the politics and cultural stuff in between that live in the greater Cincinnati area. So that's what our intention is. But as you know, you might put something out thinking, oh, this is my audience. You never really know until you put it out there and you start to get a response back from people. But so far, our intentions match who our response is. So,
and us as creatives, like, you got to stay inspired. Like, how do you stay inspired? What do you do to?
I mean, number one is I write everything down. I try to plan. So if I plan things, that means I got a path. That means I can stay on it. The second thing is I listen to my audience, and I'm in my mid-40s now, so I'm inspired by younger people. So I pay attention to what younger people younger than me, fresher than me, doper than me, in my opinion, are doing, and that helps to sharpen my dopeness. So that's how I do. I'm a big fan of bigging up what other people do, giving other people that's in the digital media space props, using whatever I can do with my platforms to promote other people. And in doing so, I'm looking at them like, oh, that's tight. Okay, that's the way to do it. So, I just look at what young people are doing, people that's out here winning. I look at what they're doing, and I try to match that to my goals and stay on my grind. So, like I said, back with the buzz coming back, I mean, it was minor on my radar screen. It wasn't a major impact because my radar screen already got other targets on it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I stay inspired by talking with my audience. Like right now, I'm in the middle of a campaign, if you want to call it, of me just talking with my audience members. What do you like? What don't you like? What do you want to hear more of? What don't you like? That kind of inspires me. When I hear things that people say that they like that I meant for them to like, that means I hit my target. Cool. But then even when people challenge me like, oh, that shit ain't working, Nate, I'm like, okay, great. That's an opportunity for me to get a little bit better.
It hurts your feelings real bad when you think something is super dope and then it don't get the response.
It do.
You're like, man, y'all tripping.
But only for a moment. It hurts for a moment because you're a creator, and any creator, they love what they create like they baby, right? Yeah. You love it, and so you get a little hurt feelings when people don't respond the way you want them to. But only for a minute for me, because then I'm like, okay, well, let me see if they right. Okay, let me see if I listen to them. Is that going to yield what I think I want? Out of the results of what I'm trying to put my efforts into. Only 24 hours in a day, so I want a return on my investment every single day of my time. And the best way to get that is just to listen to the people that already support me, and they'll tell me where to go. So, my audience is saying, keep doing it, Nate. Keep going. Keep going. So I'd be a fool not to listen to them.
And we know you got the Fleauxs, and you into hip-hop, man. Who you listening to right now? What's in your deck right now, or your playlist?
The last thing I listened to, I was listening to like some Blueface earlier. I'm just trying to figure out who this dude is.
People be hating on Blueface, but I mess with Blueface.
Yeah, that was earlier today. I'm trying to get what I'm listening to right now. Like, man, I'm still, like I said, I'm so moody. I'm a Virgo. Virgos are very moody. So I do a lot about what I listen to, the kind of music that I feel like I want to listen to. So I've been bumping some old Jeremiah. I mean, just a little bit, whatever catches my ear in the moment. But that's what I was bumping over the last couple of days. Some Blueface, some old school Jeremiah. And I can't get away from Cardi B. Shit, what else was I bumping? And I've always got like a little old school, like a little J Electronica is always close. You know what I'm saying? I take a lot of inspiration from hip-hop cats. Yeah. Like when a lot of flows, I bomb atomically. My philosophy, that's straight from Wu-Tang, right? I flow, therefore I am. That's something I got from like a hip-hop joint. I just flipped it from my own flow and turned to broadcast. So I stay inspired by the culture, by the music, I stay in culture. Right now I stay inspired like by the NBA. I don't know about you, but I watch these ballers. That make me want to work out. You know what I'm saying? That make me want to get tight. You know what I mean? I want to get out there and start, get my left hand back developed. So I just stay inspired by people that's out here doing things, out here winning, out here creating.
Yeah, man. When I see all them old ladies at the nursing home, I be like, I gotta hit the gym. I gotta have a hard body for them. They call me the Undertaker.
The Undertaker?
Or the Embalmer. I fill them up with joy before they go on to their heavenly home, man. Yeah, man. So if your grandma need a date, and she got at least 2 ailments, it could be anything. It could be arthritis and dementia, anything like that. Maybe she got a bad hip. I love them with dementia. I always forget. But tell them to holler at me, man.
They always forget, huh? That's hilarious.
I want to play a game real quick.
Sure.
It's called This or That.
This or That, all right.
Give you 2 options, and you tell me either this option or that option. Cat or dog?
Cat.
Netflix or Hulu?
I like them both, but lately I'm going to fuck with Hulu because they got Game of Thrones.
Okay. Yeah, more of the TV shows on there.
Yeah.
Cookie or brownie?
Cookie.
Sorry. Ridiculousness or wilding out?
Wilding out?
Really?
Yeah.
What?
All day long. Over ridiculousness?
Yeah.
I'll take wilding out any day.
Oh, man. Come on. Pizza or burger?
Probably pizza.
Biggie or Tupac?
Shit, man. That's like... Man, what kind of choice is that?
Go back and listen to some of them Biggie lyrics. It's kind of skep.
If I had to be honest with you, I had to say Tupac.
Tupac. Apples or oranges?
Apples.
Shorts or pants?
It depends on the weather, man.
You only got one choice.
We're going to rock the pants.
Rock with the pants, man. Xbox or PlayStation?
Xbox. The illest. I'm online, and I used to murder cats. I don't have the same time. NBA 2K, Soul Calibur, a variety of first-person shooters.
Yeah.
Come get it.
Hey, start your podcast about that, man. Get on Twitch.
Oh, yeah, Twitch is popping.
Man, Twitch is where it's at. Them cats who, like, competitively game.
Making money off of it.
Getting checks. And they sell out arenas like Jay-Z.
Yeah, they do. You know, there's some people that's doing some esports here over in Newport. They got a gaming lounge over there. They're trying to get that esports community thriving here in the city. I hope they do.
Mm-hmm.
I love it.
Yeah, that'd be hard.
That'd be super dope.
And for very last, we got chesticles or chitlin protectors.
I don't understand. What does that mean?
Well, chesticles, my good friend, are breast, and chitlin protectors is a butt because they're the flaps that protect your chitlins. They like chitlin doors.
I'm gonna have to go with the latter. What was the second one there?
Chitlin protectors.
I'm about to go with that.
Chitlin protectors, man. So y'all done heard it here, man. I want to thank you for coming through again.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate you having me.
Sharing them flows with us, man. Like I said, I've been listening for a minute, and I definitely appreciate you coming through, man.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
To you guys and to all digital creators, keep doing what you're doing. Mm-hmm. Keep doing what you're doing because the digital space is the future. Mm-hmm. And it's all about keeping up on the latest software, hardware, the latest tech, knowing what your craft is. But, you know, what I can tell you is commercial radio and terrestrial media, mainstream media, they look at social media and digital media for inspiration. Right. So it's like I said, in the last 3 years, there is an abundance of options for edutainment, for education, for knowledge, and it's all digitally based. Mm-hmm. And with Sin Digital Media, not only do we want to promote, not only do we want to create, original, media, podcast, video shows, things like that, but we want to promote what other people in the Cincinnati landscape is doing as well, with our platform. So, please find us on Facebook at CIN, that's Sin Digital Media. Please like and share, and we'll be posting. We want to help cultivate the next podcast superstar based in the city of Cincinnati. We want to help cultivate a thriving Cincinnati digital media. Mm-hmm. So just follow us there and stay connected with us.
Yeah, man. Who else is on that lineup? Is you, Jerry Tolliver?
Yeah, so I'm doing a podcast. Of course, the Nathan Ivey Show is on there. I do a podcast with PG Sittenfield, who is a white male Democrat who's a member of City Council right now. Some people say that he might run for mayor. We also working with Jerry Tolliver with the B Word. We host and produce the in Cincinnati NAAC podcast called Truth to Power, and we're working with Donyetta Bailey, who is the former president of the Black Lawyers Association, and she's producing a podcast with us called Is It Just Me? So, and still venturing, working on other ideas as well. Working with Cam Hardy on a podcast called No Cincinnati Polite. I know that Cam Hardy does a show on Radio Artifact.
Yeah, he just left right before.
Yeah, did he? Yeah. Okay, yeah. Shout out to Cam. So, just trying to reach out, man. I mean, we've started in the political world, but, we want to branch out into, the world of culture and music and pleasure in Cincinnati. And so, this is just the beginning for us, and just stay tuned.
Yeah, man. Tell people how they can keep in touch with you one more time.
So the best way to keep in touch with me is, my email address is nathan@sindigital.com. So if you want to email me directly for whatever reason. But I'm on Facebook, I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, Nathan from Cincy, Twitter, Nathan from Cincy, and then Nathan Ivey Show is online and Sin Digital Media.
Vibe, tell them how they can keep in touch with you, man.
Instagram is Mr. Vibe1, VIBEONE. Twitter is VIBEONE. Facebook is VIBE-ONE. Email me at e.s.a.ent@gmail.com for booking, mixing, mastering, production, and just keep in touch. We got the album out right now called The Maturation of Learoni.
Yeah.
All platforms. You can get the extended version of the album on Bandcamp, though. That's vibe1.bandcamp.com. It's extra 2 joints on there that iTunes and everybody else wouldn't allow because of some sampling, but you can get it anywhere online. Also, I got to start representing for the group as well. On Instagram, it's 7, the number 7, Watusi, Watusi. And then the Watusi Tribe on Facebook and Instagram. All right.
Yeah, man, and before we get up out of here, I just want to say happy birthday to Janet Jackson, Sugar Ray Leonard, Malcolm X, Patti LaBelle, yeah, Pam Grier, yeah, and Al Littles. Stevie Wonder is only 68 years old. I don't believe it. It sounds ridiculous, man. I could have sworn he was born like 1902, man. But happy birthday to all those people. Minister Louis Farrakhan and Gabby Sinnebay, James Brown. It's a lot of people's birthday that was this month. Johnny Taylor. So happy birthday to all of those people. Happy birthday to everybody whose birthday it is this month. If you want to keep in touch with me, you can find me on Instagram at Blaze6513. That's BLAZESIX513. You can also follow the show on Facebook at Nomtombout, NOMTOMBOUT, and also on Instagram at Nomtombout_radio. Make sure you go and check out Inner Space, real good music by me, because I can sing my face loose and rap my face loose fairly well. Check out Inner Space, man. Look it up. I'll be looking into the clouds and the astros and all the sky and space, things like that. That's how you know it's me. Each and every Wednesday, you can catch the show 7 p.m. here on 91.7 WVXU, your HD2 station, or you can stream us live on radioartifact.com. If you missed the show, you can also check us on Spotify at Nomtombout Radio. So until next time, goodbye.